Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Fallout Bar night number 7. We have done a week of these already, Cam. How many darts games I haven't even done the maths yet? Myself, Jack Obigawa, joined by Cam McFarlane. As ever, it feels like this week, buddy. How are we doing after today's action?
Yeah, it seems to be me and you most of the time, doesn't it? Just dragging it out for everyone and making it a much longer episode than what they want to listen to, but it's what it is.
Of all the wafflers that we have on the team, this is the worst combination.
Me and you. At least we've not got Jarlath now, otherwise it would be. That's when it goes longer than ever. It's not too bad today. I say that. I had a lovely positive test this morning, so I'm at home now for the next 7 to 10 days, which is not fantastic, but it is what it is. Other than that, the good thing is I can focus on the darts. I don't have to go to work.
Mate, we told you, do that at Q School. Perfect time. We need you in the daytimes, not in the evenings. You're no good to us. I joke. Good evening to everybody in the chat room. Popped a few up on screen. Svendetta, good evening from Germany. A very good evening if you are German this evening. What a result for Florian Hempel, by the way. The star eyes emojis are back from Rose. She does also say, get well soon, Cam. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. He's a bit northern, but, can't treat that with antibiotics. So he'll be absolutely fine in the morning. Let's quickly throw back to yesterday before we get into the show too much. We started a little bit early, which is a couple of minutes more to play around with. Last night, we didn't play you any clips of any of our interviews. That was because they weren't ready in the software yet. The last interview took a little bit too long. So what we do have for you before we start the show is James Wade's clip from last night. Talks a little bit about festivities. He was last on, so this one probably wouldn't have made the show anyway. But as a little bit of a bonus, we're going to play that for you now. So here is James Wade talking after his victory yesterday. Then we'll review all of today's action, and then we'll look ahead to tomorrow in our usual fashion.
And I'm not being funny. After Boxing Day this year, there's got to be a lockdown, and we're all going to have to adjust to it. And I'm sure the PDC, fortunately, it's run by some intelligent people, and we're all going to have to adjust to it. No, I just want to see people happy, and shall I tell you the best thing about Christmas? Family members arguing, making it feel uncomfortable at the dinner table. If you can get that in any household, you've got the perfect British Christmas. And I honestly believe that as well. Me and Samantha could just do Christmas with me and Arthur and my wife, and who knows, one more. No, I think it's brilliant. I hate it. When so I've got to point this in the right direction. My mum and dad, Samantha's mum and dad, we all come together, and it causes ruptions, and it's hard work. But we all love each other, and we all get on, and we all abide. And I'm sure every single person in this room, if they're honest, has experienced that. But that's part of Christmas, isn't it? As long as Santa comes and visits the kids, and that's what it is about the kids. It's the most amazing time of the world.
I'm guessing Monopoly's...
Most amazing time of the world? Most amazing time of the year.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing Monopoly's fun in your house then?
No, because me and Samantha always argue, and it goes a little step too far. I mean, has no one else argued over, Monopoly and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, me and my wife have, had,
domestics.
Not domestics, but, proper, arguments that makes everyone else in that room feel uncomfortable. And I think that's all about Christmas, It's a festive time, and, it's quite magical.
Oh, I love James Wade. I love it to pieces.
Yeah, it just made me just realise everything that I'm now going to miss this year because I don't get to go and do any of that.
And if you don't get James Wade, I don't think you ever will get James Wade. He's just a character, I think. A few more in the chat room saying hello. Teresa says, oi. I think that might have been because I said the only thing wrong with you was that you're northern. She seems to take offence to that. Being from the same area as you, actually, Cam. So
she is, yeah. So nice to have a little bit of backup for once.
Tyus says, bad evening from Belgium. It was indeed as good an evening as it was for the Germans. The Belgians have not had a good one. Juanita, woohoo! I wonder who you're talking about there, Juanita. Could it be Raymond Smith? Rose says this interview went off on a bit of a tangent, as does our show sometimes. I thought it was very relevant. And Henry says, evening fellas, been at the Panto tonight. Oh, no, you haven't. So to see Hempel win. What an open quarter to draw now. Indeed, that quarter is very, very tasty. Right, Cam, let's look back at all of today's actions. We're going to go in match order, as we tend to do, which means we're starting at the very beginning. And actually, there were an awful lot of whitewash victories today, which means there's a lot of bigging up of players to do, a lot of perhaps negatives about some other players or lack of performances, and we should breeze through these pretty quickly. Louie Williams, the new Prince of Wales. Not quite sure how we feel about the Welsh. As good as the Welsh are at darts, by the way, they are crap at nicknames because they've recycled two now, the Iceman and the Prince of Wales. So be a little bit more original, folks. It's fine. Louie Williams, 3-0 victory over Toyokazu Shibata, who was very, very impressive in qualifying. The field was massive, was strong average throughout, coming through the Japan qualifier, but just never got going against Louie up on that stage there. And a professional job by a youngster that's up and coming.
Yeah, very impressive, I thought, from Louie Williams today. I thought they were both making the debut up on that stage. We know how tough that can be at times, and Louie looked really composed up there for me, and I thought it was a very professional job. Obviously, there wasn't a lot that came back at him. Shibata didn't play particularly well. I think he was 20 points down on what he averaged in qualifying for the tournament, which is kind of a massive fall off. But it's also probably quite understandable with the fact that he's coming from not having that much practice, never playing on a stage like this before. It's very, very different, and Louie just handled it better today. Yeah,
pretty much sums it up perfectly, mate. Lack of Asian tour. I think Shibata was meant to be in the Japan World Cup team. Don't hold me to that, but was obviously unable to play in that as well. Louie Williams been on the tour this year, picked up some big wins against some big names throughout, but a professional job done by him. Some stats from this one then, as we don't have the third person to waffle on. We'll fill with numbers tonight. Louie Williams finished with 93 match average. Shibata had a 75.17. There was 3 180s for Louie against none from Shibata, and 40.9% on the doubles for Louie, rounding off a pretty impressive stat line to the 16.7% of Shibata. Marcus says the Asian players really need the Asia tour back. Completely agree. The players that we're seeing that have qualified this year, we know a lot of their names. They've been superb. If anybody does follow the Asian tour, you've seen what these guys have been doing for the last couple of years. There was about 18 months ago, Elagan and Meulenkamp are both hitting 9 darters within the space of a couple of weeks of each other. The Asian tour, when it's fully flowing, is so beneficial to these guys. Playing regular, competitive, steel tip darts is what Asia needs now, because they clearly are capable of producing the players. They just need the match practice.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing, isn't it? We've seen it so much. The players that have played in the live league and the players that have had lots of competitive action, it's really helped. And where they wouldn't have had that usual, as much practice that you usually have in terms of sort of tournaments elsewhere, it's helped. And I think the Asian players have really missed out on that.
Yeah, they have indeed. On to the second game, a game won by a slightly even bigger margin, to be honest. Louie Williams dropped just 2 legs against Shibata. Jason Lowe dropped just 1 leg against the Swede Daniel Larsson. 10 points difference in the average in this one once again. And that is including an absolutely disastrous opening leg in which both players missed a ridiculous amount of darts at double that obviously hampers the averages straight off the bat. But Jason Lowe, J-Lo, showing that he brings all of the wins to the block or something along those lines.
Did we have to go there already?
I can't make puns. What am I here for?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it was. That first leg was really bad. It was, I think it was 1-1 in the end, was it, that he got over the line on? Which
he went 1-1. The next leg was 3-3. I was waiting for him to win the set on 2-2. I think that would have been the first time ever. The lowest 3 consecutive doubles have been hit to win a set. But yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? It was, and I mean, I don't think it was particularly that good from Jason Lowe after that. There were a couple of big checkouts in there, but other than that, there was a lot of poor visits, and only averaged 88 himself in the end. But it was comfortably enough to beat Daniel Larsson. Who he's better than he showed, and I expected a bit more of him. I thought it might be fairly competitive this game. I fancied that Lowe would get himself over the line, but not maybe quite that comfortably.
Yeah, we see Larsson in the World Series earlier in the year. I heard a stat on commentary that he's just not won outside of the first round for a long, long time. He's on a terrible record, and it seems to have carried that here to the biggest stage of them all. Jason Lowe, last couple of times we've seen him up on a big stage has been in Minehead, really. Ran Michael van Gerwen close a couple of years ago, had chances against Gerwin Price this year. We know he's a capable player, but he will have to step it up another gear or two if he's to keep progressing in this tournament. The stats in this one, Jason Lowe managed to find 5 180s despite only averaging 88. 2-ton plus checkouts for him, 31% on the doubles and an 88 average to Daniel Larsson's 78. Jason Lowe does move on, though, to round 3. Nope, that was the final round 2 game. So round 1 game, sorry. He'll be back for round 2 on Thursday. Is that right?
I think so.
Yes, he'll play Jose de Souza on Thursday in the final game in the afternoon session. Yeah, those 2 games we've just spoken about were the final round 1 games of the World Championships this year. We are into round 2. Everybody now playing, or at least every game will have at least one seeded player, so one of the top 32 players involved. Hopefully we start seeing those averages creep up a little bit more, Cam. Up next, the only game that went to 5 sets all day, and there was a chance it didn't get anywhere near this because Ryan Joyce came out of the blocks absolutely flying. He was averaging 106 after 2 sets. Had Mervyn King exactly where I wanted him. Looked like he could take out 166 if you left it for him. His finishing was that good for the first 2 sets. But then Mervyn King wins 9 straight legs, 3 sets in a row. We've seen some strange games from Mervyn King at the Ali Pali, especially in this format, and today was no different.
Yeah, can we move on from this one already?
No. It's literally one of the biggest stories of the day. Everyone else was 3-0.
Yeah, I know, and with our lovely friends at BoyleSports, I may have backed the upset and been on Ryan Joyce to win this one, so not the most enjoyable watch for me after the first 2 sets. Yeah, it was a dramatic fall off from Ryan Joyce, and you can't do that against Mervyn King because he will punish you. 2 players that you can't do that against. It's either King or it's Wade, and you fall off like that against them, and they're just going to punish you. And Joyce just never looked like hitting a double. He had quite a few chances again after that point, and you just never thought he was going to hit them. He didn't get particularly near to any of them. Nothing was on the wire. They were all a little bit far away. He was missing them low quite a bit as well. So yeah, it just crumbled a little bit under the pressure of getting towards the winning line.
Yeah, I mean, both players finished with the same number of double attempts. They both managed 20, but it seemed like everything Ryan Joyce left for the first 2 sets, he took out, and everything thereafter, he simply didn't. He didn't get anywhere near them. Stats in this one, 92 average plays, 93. King winning with the lower average. He did fire in 6 maximums, though, 2-ton pluses, including the Shanghai, and 50% on the doubles. That's the difference there. Mervyn King holding it together when he needed it the most, especially in those last 3 sets. We're now going to hear from Mervyn King. He is one of the players that we have his interview clip ready for you. A reminder that all of these interviews are available in full on our YouTube channel once we finish tonight's show. Hop over there and watch them at your own leisure. This is Mervyn King in his post-match press conference.
I felt it was mine halfway through the 3rd set, really, to be fair. Things started to change, and I was starting to feel a lot more comfortable with the way things were going. I still had a couple of heavy shots, but he didn't capitalise on them. And I took the 3rd set. Halfway through the 4th set, I'm thinking, This is mine now if I carry on, because I think he's gone. And it sort of appeared that way, and it carried on.
Another bit of the Merva. A reminder that our friend and colleague Lee Boyce has backed Mervyn King to win this quarter of the draw. And oh my, has it opened up? He definitely wasn't posting in our group chat. He felt really, really bad for jinxing Merv. Or he didn't feel bad for jinxing Merv, did he? Because he didn't want Merv to win, but then because he's backed him, got away with it and was giving it that's just how Lee works, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he was quite happy to have jinxed him, but also didn't want to have jinxed him so he could say he was right. I'm a little bit confused with what exactly he was saying at that point, but I think, yeah, it looked like the Curse of Lee Boyce was out as usual, and then somehow it magically turned around.
If you're on the wall, the Curse of Lee Boyce does not apply. Them be the rules. I've decided, although that might be completely different by the time we finish this World Championships, because I will have moved house, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to have a wall behind me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or any internet. This could tomorrow night could well be my last show until Q school.
Yeah, I'll be honest, if you don't get it sorted in the next couple of days, you may not have a wall whatsoever or any walls.
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine with that bit. Don't you worry about me. On to the... Oh, that's a great point. When King plays like that, you have to wonder why he hasn't won a PDC major. Because he was 9-0 up against James Wade in the Masters and then fell apart. That's how he's never won a major. Yeah. That one probably crippled him the most. Again, Masters final against Johnny Clayton earlier in the year. Johnny got it going. What else has he been in the final of? Match play? No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I can't remember. I'll be honest. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
Don't know. Something like that. Merv is fantastic on his day. He's 55 now, I think. And the fact that he's produced arguably his best season on tour ever in terms of stats wise, it more ton plus averages. He's hit his highest ever average in PDC TV darts this year, and he's still going, still competing. Imagine if Mervyn King went, no, that's enough, I'm off to play in the World Seniors Tour. He would go in as a heavy favourite, I think. Yeah, still got some superb ability. It's mad how many players in this field are over the age of 50, by the way, but have tour cards and choose to still compete. The minute they decide to drop off, that Seniors Tour gets even stronger. We might see some of the really old boys start to go, I've started this, but I'm off. We'll let these young folks dig it out.
Like a secondary Seniors Tour, like just
Masters Tour for over 8. Premier League players and the Grand Prix.
Just looking at that now.
Has come close to onto the final game of the afternoon session, and it was a pretty much, I say one-way traffic. The numbers don't suggest it that way. They both averaged 96. Mike Dedecker much more solid on the straight tons, level on the 140s. Chisnall with the extra 180, but finishing from Chizzy absolutely superb. 9 from 26. Mike Dedecker just 4 from 10. Mike Dedecker he won his game in the first round. I would say is pretty impressive, but he looked like he'd banished that poor performance from the Grand Slam coming into this. Played all right. 96 average, not to be shrugged at, but just in darts, sometimes it's all about timing. And Chisnall, the man did the right things at the right moments, Cam.
He did, absolutely that. Because if you look at it, they had exactly the same average, even down to the hundreds. And it was, Dedecker actually had a higher checkout percentage, but it just shows that Chisnall's overall scoring was clearly gave him more opportunities at the double push by hitting them at the right time. And then there was a couple of magical finishes in the 130 and the 146, which were just hit at the right times and helped him get over the line. And get over the line pretty comfortably. And it's that whole thing of just winning the legs when you need to at the back end of sets.
Yeah, 3-2, 3-1, 3-1 the set scores for Dave Chisnall. Absolutely no surprise to see him open the tournament and open his account with a maximum. Still have absolutely no idea how the man does it. His action is one of the least aesthetically pleasing and technically sound actions in the game. It's just so ropey. But Dave Chisnall continues to make it work for him. And after his heroics last year, beating, was it Dimitri and then Michael van Gerwen in that performance? Dave Chisnall could be set for another World Championship run after a good showing here. On to the afternoon session, Cam, and a result that perhaps is a little bit disappointing. Vincent van der Voort beating Adam Hunt in straight sets. Hunt actually finishing with a better average by 3 points, but Van der Voort winning them crucial last legs in the first 2 sets, 3-2, 3-2, and then just running away with that final set, 3-0.
Very, very similar to the Chisnall game in that Adam Hunt's actually averaged more, hit more 180s, and hit a higher percentage on the doubles and lost 3-0. It doesn't make a lot of sense, the stats sometimes. This is why they are a little bit irrelevant at times, because it is just about doing the right things at the right times. He had chances to win those first 2 sets, and it could have been completely the other way around this game, but didn't hit them, and Vincent punished him and went on, and then I think by that 3rd set, I think Hunt was kind of a little bit done at that point. I think Vinny had taken everything out of him at that time.
Yeah, I think once you win back-to-back last leg deciders in the way that Vincent does, it's a little bit difficult to come back. Warren says Hunt losing that 2nd set was criminal. 4 180s in the first 2 legs. Got to make the most of it. Like we say, set play can just reset you and keep knocking you back constantly over and over again. Leg play, you've always got that target right in front of you. Rose says this match really didn't look like a 3-0. I think he said that about the last 2, to be honest, and possibly even a couple more throughout the day. But that is the way that it finished. On now to match number 6 of the day, and one of our contenders for player of the day, Michael Smith, with an outstanding performance, the highest average of the tournament so far, 106.32, in a game that did look like 3-0. Cam, Michael Smith absolutely blowing Ron Meulenkamp away, 16 points better off in the averages. Ron Meulenkamp winning just 1 leg. If Bully Boy carries on that form, maybe, just maybe, he breaks his duck at the biggest tournament of them all.
If he carries on like that, he does. It's not a maybe. If he plays like that throughout the entire tournament, he will go on and win this tournament. But that is a very big ask to do that over the course of the Worlds. He was very impressive today, though. I think he actually probably flatters Meulenkamp a little bit that the averages only end up 16 points different, because I think it was 30 different in set 1, and then it's sort of narrowed down a little bit after that. But to only give your opponent 2 shots at a double in the entire match as well, playing 6 180s as well, and just then finished to kick off the first leg as well. It was very good from him.
It was indeed. A little bit of jest from Bully Boy as he went up on stage to speak to Polly James afterwards. Oh no, it was in the walk-on area, sorry, wasn't it? He went, I'm just gutted he won a leg. That's the sort of ruthlessness you want to see from Bully Boy when he knows he's got the better of someone. He's been talking a very, very good game throughout the year. Was disappointed he was left out of the Premier League. Could a run here sneak him back in? Because Bully Boy throwing 106 is the sort of player you want to see in the Premier League, perhaps. Let's not let Phil Bars hear us say that. Warren says Smith was on it from the off. It looks effortless on the trebles and doubles. He just has the ability to do that. His action is so smooth when it's on. When it's off and you see him start walking on that final treble, there's a little bit of a rock and almost trying a little bit too hard, the release can start to falter as well. But when Bully Boy is on it, he is absolutely superb and a joy to watch. And tonight was one of those occasions. And I did mention that he spoke to Polly James, but he also came and spoke to us after his match. This is Bully Boy in his post-match press conference.
You say I slipped down. I only slipped down to 9th, so I've not slipped that far. I've never. All these critics that look at me and say, "Oh, you've never won nothing," but I've been here for 7 years in the top 10. So it's not like I slip and move and slip. And I made number 3 without winning the tournament. So I'm not fussed. I don't slip. I defend everything that I've done. And yeah, I still win the Pro Tour every now and again. It's about winning that first one now, and as soon as I get that monkey off my back, it'll be a different story then. So if I have nothing to prove to anyone out there, it's about me. I'm not gonna say I know. I believe that I should be winning events now, and then I can't keep saying, "Oh, I'm unlucky. Wait to the next one. Wait to this one. Wait to that one." I keep saying that. I was saying that when I was 20. Now I'm 31 now, so I've only got, 10 years left, 11, 12, hopefully.
Interesting point, but it's a good one that he makes. He's another 5 barren years without a trophy. Perhaps Bully Boy starts edging towards that conversation with Terry Jenkins, Mervyn King. Will they ever get over the line in a big one? He's clearly got the talent that's been tipped for so long. It would be one of the anomalies in sport if Bully Boy does not pick up a major televised title. Cam, on to our penultimate game of the day then, and quite possibly the biggest upset of the tournament so far. We have lost 2 seeds before this moment in Christoph Ratajski and Stephen Bunting, unless we lost one as well last night. Let me just double check.
No, you're right, just the 2.
Just the 2. Perfect. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about occasionally. But Dimitri Bergh has been sent crashing out of the Alexandra Palace by a superb performance by the German Florian Hempel.
Yeah, Hempel was very, very good again. He basically, sorry, my voice is absolutely giving up here. Yeah, he was really good again. He impressed me a lot in round 1, and I thought it was. I don't want to take a lot of credit for it, but I was watching along last night and giving my predictions as we went in the chat, and I did predict that Hempel would actually beat Dimmy tonight, and it was more comfortable than I thought it would be. I thought it would get over the line sort of last. Did you not predict it as well? I
think so.
Yeah, I think you did. I don't know.
I'm just not sat here bragging about it, which is what the face was for.
Well, that makes it. Yeah, that's probably a first for you, to be honest. That you've not tried to take that opportunity yet. But yeah, I thought it would be tighter than it was. I thought we would maybe go kind of all the way in this one and go right up to the tiebreaker. But Hempel was just so good on the outer ring, and no matter what Dimmy threw back at him, I mean, Dimmy's averaged 101 and got beat 3-1. It's a little bit ridiculous at times. Did he not lose last year as well with 102 as well, something like that?
Quite possibly. He's making a knack of winning whilst playing. Well, look, Dimitri Bergh is a special player. You don't win the match play without being so. Struggled for form at times, but has found himself in 2 televised finals. Just got sucker punched by big checkouts and composed finishing from somebody with such relative inexperience.
Yeah, it's another little example of having that experience of being a professional sportsman and already knowing about dealing with the pressure and things like that. It seems like he's got that in his locker already, that nothing's going to faze him.
Yeah, those transferable skills are absolutely massive for him. And if you'd have told me that Florian Hempel would ease through Martin Schindler and Dimitri Bergh, look, not saying that wins weren't on the cards for that. That was one where you looked at him and thought, okay, if he turns up, yes, it's on. But to cruise through Martin Schindler 3-0 and then only drop 1 set to Dimitri Bergh, Florian Hempel is in a very, very good position. And in doing so, a reminder that one of Florian Hempel, Raymond Smith, Steve Lennon and Mervyn King will be a World Championship quarter finalist this year. We did target that section 2 of the draw as being nice and open. Jim Williams managed to do a job on Joe Cullen tomorrow. James Wade is the highest seed remaining by a clear amount. We've already lost Ratajski from that section. Devon Petersen also fell in that one, as we will talk about very, very soon. And obviously Dimitri Bergh also.
I found right now that Florian Hempel is the favourite to make that quarterfinal.
I would struggle to disagree. Mervyn King with a comeback today, though. He has got a bit of experience. Depends which Steve Lennon turns up. He's been. Look, I'm not backing against Steve Lennon. The man's done us in twice in 2 already. It's a bit like every time you back Willie O'Connor, the man seems to turn something back against Willie O'Connor. He's like, I heard that, and does something to prove us wrong. Hempel for the Premier League are the Cools. Hempel doesn't even have a Wikipedia page yet. Don't I know it? Because when I was trying to do some research earlier in the year to find out what handball level he played at, etc., there's nothing. I think there's one article from somebody else that managed to catch up with him, but his stats and that, it's just absolutely nowhere. Hempel is the new Sherrock. His t-shirt isn't quite as pretty.
No.
Hempel beat Wright and Dimmy in majors. Good start for a person who just started 4 years ago. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Someone that only started playing darts 4 years ago. Cam could only dream. He's been doing this for nearly 40. Look at the state of him.
40's harsh. There's no need for that.
You are a bit old, though.
I'm a bit old, and I'm certainly feeling it today. So I'm looking for a bit of sympathy from the chat because I'm not feeling very well.
Warren says, who can the winner of that section face in the quarters possibly? I'll give you a rundown of that quarter 2. So Hempel Smith, it's Hempel versus Smith, Steve Lennon versus Mervyn King. The winner of those 2 games face off in the 4th round, and one of them will be in the quarterfinals. James Wade or Vincent van der Voort is a 3rd round tie in the other half of that section. And then you've got Joe Cullen, Jim Williams, Simon Whitlock, and Martijn Kleermaker as the other players still in that part of the draw. So one of those 10 names will be a world semi-finalist. Wade, Van der Voort, Cullen, Williams, Whitlock, Kleermaker, Hempel, Raymond Smith, Steve Lennon, Mervyn King.
Kleermaker against Hempel in the quarterfinal of the Worlds.
That'd be the tallest quarterfinal in World Darts Championship history. They are both very, very big gentlemen.
I don't fancy interviewing them too, I'll be honest.
Bill. It's a good job they all get to sit down then. That quarter is looking more than ever not a bad side of the draw for any of them. Completely agree. It is a bad side of the draw though for Devon Petersen because he is out. He loses in straight sets. Once again, that was the order of the day to the Australian Raymond Smith, carrying on where he left off against Jamie Hughes. Another 93 average for Raymond Smith in another solid performance, Cam.
Yeah, really, really good again. Just consistent on the scoring. It's very much, he was pretty much at that average throughout the entire game. He didn't drop off, he didn't come back, and he was just really good. And again, well over 50% on the doubles as well. If you keep averaging that and doing that on the doubles, you're going to be difficult to beat. And we know Devon's not playing particularly well. He's not been in great form recently, and it was almost a little bit of an easy pick against him if Smith turned up and did what he did again in the 1st round, which he did, unless Devon found something, which I think there was one leg possibly where he looked like he'd found it, maybe a couple. But then other than that, never really in this one.
Yeah, indeed. And Devon Petersen was on the live lounge a couple of weeks ago ahead of this event. I know he's been talking to a couple of people as well, saying that his injury feels good. He was hoping to go to the players to just settle himself in and really make a run at these World Championships. But Raymond Smith has put an end to that in superb fashion. That, Cam, brings to an end our review of yesterday. Just 2 more days to go before Christmas and the round 2 games to complete. And now we're going to look ahead to tomorrow. Chat room, you know the draw, score, whatever right now. Fire in your predictions as we go along through these matches. We'll try and flash as many of them up on screen for you. And just a quick one. Lee Seymour says, was I seeing things, but did Dave Chisnall and Mike Zephyr get the exact same average today?
We're not
They
seeing
did
things.
indeed. 96.43, I think is the number. Let me just double check.
Exactly that number. You are right.
Number. Need to get out more.
I know. We both, as if we both knew that straight off the top of our head.
Completely. Right, let's look ahead to tomorrow before we get called Anorax or something bizarre. First game tomorrow. How on earth is this game first, by the way? An absolute belter of a game to get underway. The 9-dart final leg Scottish sensation Willie Borland takes on heavy metal Ryan Selcam. What a way to start the day this is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a little bit good, this, isn't it? I don't know where to go with this. I've absolutely got no idea. I've been thinking about this since before we started the show, and I was thinking, what am I going to predict? And I still don't know. It's going to be tough for Borland to follow up what he did in the 1st round. I think that might be the biggest point here, and I think maybe we see Searle just have that little bit more in terms of the experience and possibly just get over the line. 3 3-1. I think he might just do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Look, Searle's a major finalist. He made the final of the Players' Championships ahead of this event. What Willie Borland did was a superb matchup against Bradley Brooks. And actually, the pace of Searle will suit him again. But there's a lot of pressure on that young man's shoulders right now as well. He's done an awful lot of media this week. He started a Twitter page that night and is already on 22,000 followers. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, look, just to go up to try and repeat it with everybody watching, I've more eyes on him. I know everybody's watching regardless, but it'll be a big.
There's an expectation now that wasn't there.
Yeah, and we'll see how he handles that. If he handles that pressure, then we've got a star in the making, because that's not easy to do. But if not, Ryan Searle, solid. He can just take legs away from you without even realising it. Those last couple of legs to stay in the match against Peter Wright at the Players' Championship Finals were superb from Henry. And I think this one ends 3-1. Henry is predicting 4 seeds going out tomorrow. Humphreys, Durrant, Whitlock and Hybrex. Ooh, you can't be saying Kim's going on my show, mate.
No, we don't
That's
have
not
that
be the rule.
We've got two of the biggest Kim Hybrex fans in here. You can't. Can we kick him out of the chat room? Is that possible?
Give him that's boots. I gave him a call to see if he wanted to jump on the show as our third, but after that, I'm glad I didn't. Can't be coming in here and saying that. I would have been clicking you off my screen very, very quickly.
It does happen as well, because it happened to me the other night. That
correct. On to match number 2 tomorrow afternoon. Then Cameron, it is one that, without being disrespectful, a lot of the unseeded players will have fancied their chances against. Glenn Doran, we know how much of a turgid year he has had, takes on William O'Connor. How do you see this one go?
I heard a couple of bits and pieces that Glenn's been practicing a lot and seems to be picking up a little bit and doing quite well. And it'd be good to see him get back to playing well. But until I actually see it in front of me and see any evidence of it, I can't go with anything but backing the form player at the moment. Willie O'Connor has been playing really well recently and backing him to win comfortably. And I'm taking 3-0 Willie O'Connor. Until I see anything from Durham that proves to me that he has found an improvement or a change or just a bit of confidence back, I just can't even give him a set. Yeah, look,
I listened to his interview in full with Phil at an exhibition up in Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, and he said he was nervous going up on stage to start. He fought back to win his match and started playing some good stuff and dragged his average up to mid-90s, which is superb. But look, I almost feel bad talking about it, because I know Glenn is one that will take on board more what's being said than a lot of players. And I don't want to say it, but I just think the occasion, the year he's had, the overthinking that will go on in Glenn's head ahead of tomorrow. If those first 6-9 darts in practice don't start going well, or the first time he throws a bad visit, that's going to be the real tester. And if it doesn't click straight away, I fear for Glenn that it will just be a long battle up on that stage. I think I'm going to have to go 3-0 to Willie O'Connor as well. Steve's finally found the chat room. Hello, mate, but you're about 5 minutes late on that one. We're on to game number 2. Catch your stream up. But good to see you, buddy. Hopefully see you in Reading at the next qualifiers as well. Really hope Glenn plays well, but it will be 3-1 to Willie. Do we think Glenn will hand his card in if it goes bad tomorrow? Not the way he was talking in that interview that I've just referenced there. His main aim of going to the World Championships to win a game, knowing that he's not in a great deal of form, is that he was hoping it will click next year, but he just wants money on his ranking, so he's not dropping too far, because much like Raymond van Barneveld, when he started to drop, it's a lot easier when you're chasing and accumulating than it is seeing that money come off and having to go to places to defend it. So I don't think he will give his card back. I think he might possibly be a little bit more selective over some events and that sort of thing, but I think the only way that Glenn Durrant finishes PDC is if he cannot, if he loses his tour card outright. I think he's a fighter. He's a 3-time BDO world champion, and I think he's not about to give it up and throw it away any time soon. Steve says, Glenn will find his form, mate. I'm sure. I'm glad you are, mate, because there's a few of us a little bit edgy about which Glenn Durrant will turn up tomorrow. Next up, Cam, the Ruby John Rodriguez show, or the RJR show, continues. Roby John takes on Luke Humphries, a battle that I have seen in person numerous times on the development tour at the latter stages, obviously from behind the barriers because I was no longer involved in the tournament. But these two are superb, know each other very, very well, and will go up there and give each other a real battle.
They will. This is possibly the tie of the day. I think this is going to be an absolute barnstormer. It's going to be just back and forth. I think we're going all the way in this one, and I think we'll see Luke Humphries just get over the line. It's going long, this one. 3-2.
You know what? I tend to agree with you again.
What is going on here? It's just having two of us on isn't working because we're agreeing with each other on everything.
I think Roby John has added a dimension to his game that means he can scrap out results now. But I just think Luke Humphries' A game is beyond Roby John's by a significant margin on TV from what we've seen throughout the year. That UK Open final where Luke met James Wade, that performance against Michael Van Gerwen to get there was absolutely superb. We said that a couple of times recently.
Yeah.
And I just think that if Luke turns up for a set or two like that, his scoring power is absolutely ridiculous, which has just put an awful lot of pressure on the outer ring for Roby John. And as Tommy Tornado says, Humphries loves the world. He does indeed.
He does
loves
that.
a run at Ali Pali. RJR will find it tough against Luke, already having been through the pain in the first game. Luke wins it for me 3-1. Onto the final game of the afternoon session. Former BDO World Championship runner-up and Live League winner Jim Williams takes on the rock star Joe Cullen, another player, Cam, that struggled for a bit of form in the back end of 2021.
He is, yeah, but I don't have the same sort of worry about him in this one. I wasn't particularly impressed with what Jim Williams did in getting through his first round game. And Cullen's level when he's on it and what we've seen him do at the Worlds before now and on the big stage before now is just, he has a higher level and a higher gear that he can go to. I think we might see a little resurgence from Cullen in this, and that he finds a bit of form again as well, finds a bit of confidence, and I think he'll win 3-1.
Maliki has ever been the awkward one. I'm pretty sure he is the only one that has backed a Williams victory so far, and that is the way it is staying. Where's Brandon, by the way? Which two did I call him out on last night? I feel really bad for it.
I can't remember which they were now.
I hope I was right. He's been very quiet, so it can't have been.
I was going to say, I'm sure you'd have been told if not.
I would have been told by now. Why wasn't I told Wayne Mardle? I got it wrong. I'm going to say 3-0.
Yeah, I was tempted to be 3-0, to be honest. I was.
3-0 to Joe Cullen. Stuart says, need those fantasy team points. Come on, Cullen. Good reminder. We'll take that league before we disappear. I'll just get that one up on screen shortly. On to the evening session, Cam, and there's absolutely no need for me to predict who is going to win this next one for you. I just need to hear which scoreline you think Nathan Aspinall is going to win by.
I think you could probably have picked that one as well. I think he's going to win comfortably, and I think it's going to be 3-0, and I'm not biased at all.
Yeah, after that big intro I gave you, you're not biased at all. Brandon says Michael Smith and Raymond Smith matches go. Did you back Meulenkamp? I hope you did. And did you back Devon? I hope you did, because then I was right.
I was watching, I should remember this, but you were giving me that many jobs last night when I was just trying to sit around and watch that I can't remember.
What, you can do the report after this as well, because we missed it. Marcus says, Ast 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-1. Who does he play? My bad. Sorry, I was too busy giving Cam abuse. He plays Joe Murray. The Asp 3-1, the Asp 3-0. Warren says Mernon win a leg. Ask 3-zip, 3-zip, 3-zip. Look, I'm not sure that Joe Mernon can play as badly as he did in the first round. And there are still no news over Nathan Aspinall's injury. He was struggling a little bit with his elbow, was wearing a support on it just a couple of weeks ago. So with that in mind, I'm still going to back Asp, but I'm going to say 3-2. I'm going to say he's stretched, and I'm going to say he's pushed by Joe Mernon. And I'm going to say Aspinall sneaks over the line 3-2. And then take some time over Xmas to recoup. Brandon says he did back Meulenkamp and Petersen. I got something right. Hallelujah. I don't brag on this show, honest.
Yeah, what were you saying about me before?
3-2 to Nathan Aspinall. Next up, a game that has been given a build-up promo by Sky. We've gone from 4 days of Fallon Sherrock to Dirk van Dijvenbode against Boris Koltsov. This is truly the strangest World Championships yet. Who wins this one, buddy?
Big fan of Boris Koltsov, and I think his action's really, really nice. And we've not seen a lot from Dirk recently. So I think this is where we see an upset. And I think we see Boris Koltsov win this one 3-2.
The meme matchup. Plenty of everybody in the chat room going DVD. I really like Boris Koltsov, and I think he has an absolutely superb A game. But his lack of a B game is a worry for me here, because a couple of years ago, Dirk also did not have a B game, but he has learned to build one in the last couple of years, where he's gone in now with a target on his back because of that run at the Grand Prix, and because of that run here last year when Gary Anderson took him out of the event. So because of that, I think Dirk just sneaks it and is just able to up his game when he needs it. Just that little bit. I know you said we haven't seen an awful lot of him, but I still think he gets the result. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to go 3-2 again, actually. I'm going to say tomorrow night sessions go pretty deep, 3-2 to Dirk van Dijvenbode. For me, penultimate game of the night, Cam. We've already given Henry some stick in the chat room for saying Kim Huybrechts falls, which surely means, as much as Steve Beaton is the living legend of the years, we're both putting a 3 next to Kim Huybrechts' name.
Yeah, we all love Steve Beaton. Everyone loves Steve Beaton. But that was a massive effort for him to get through that first round game with everything that he had to go up against, and with his recent record and what he's done recently, I've just seen that from Henry there. I was thinking exactly the same when they were going on today. I was like, you better not do that while he's playing. Yeah, I think it will have taken a lot for Beaton to get through the game, and a lot of his focus will have been on that. I don't think he'll have that same focus up against Kim tomorrow, and I think we'll see Kim run out a 3-1 winner.
Yeah, look, I know Kim's had difficulties trying to even get to this event. He tried driving initially, and the French border police turned him back. So he had to fly in from Belgium instead. But he is in the country and ready to go. And like you said, there was so much talk about Fallon and Steve Beaton in this build-up. I think a lot of attention, a lot of time, a lot of effort for Steve would have been focused on that match. Not Boris, we've already spoken about him. Kim Huybrechts has started to look very, very good this year, and I'm a little bit excited about that because I am one of man's biggest fans. He's absolutely superb in full flow. So I'm going to say Kim Huybrechts wins this one. Exactly the same scoreline as you, Juanita. I'm going 3-1 to the Belgian. Whoever it was earlier that said bad day for Belgium. You'll have a better one tomorrow. I don't promise, but I would semi-guarantee it. That's how
don't promise anything, God. Never promise anything.
Never promise anything. Apart from James Wade is the greatest man on the planet. Final game of tomorrow, and it is another Australian. There's a record amount of those folk clinging around in the World Championships, and they actually bookend. They close tomorrow night session, open Thursday afternoon. But there's Simon Whitlock against Martijn Kleermaker. There's some serious height on this stage tomorrow, Cam. But which one comes out on top?
Ken, a very big fan of the Wizard, and always like to see him do well. But I don't think he does tomorrow, and I'm taking the upset again. And I think that I just fancy that Clearmaker played okay in his first game, but he has another level to go to. I think he said as much in his interview afterwards with Phil, and that he got through that first game without really doing anything particularly spectacular, and that he's got a lot more in the tank, and just not so sure that Whitlock is the force he was. And I think this is where we see him get dumped out, and I think he'll get dumped out 3-1.
I'm a bit in between on this one. Clearmaker's scoring is fantastic. I think his doubles is something that needs to be worked on. I think that Whitlock's had one of those years where he never seems to disappear too far. He always seems to come straight back. But he's had one of those years where he does take a little bit of that dip. He's tinkered about with his darts a little bit more than usual this year as well, I think. I still think he just comes out on top, though. And I'm going to say it's another 3-2. I'm going to say the Wizard beats Clearmaker in a final set. Warren says, thank God it's on last. The board be no good anymore. Some of them already. You can see the players that are customers of Simon Whitlock throughout the week. Some of these boards have taken a little bit of a battering. I reckon it'll be fine for Wizard as long as the bells are ringing and the band begins to play. I'll do the puns around here, Sam. Less of that. If anybody tries to make me lose a certain Christmas-based song game, I will fall out with you massively. Let's take a look at our fantasy league. I'll get it up on screen for you now, folks. Bradley Moncur still leads the way, 93 points for him. He's had Michael Van Gerwen, a Johnny Clayton, Dave Chisnall today, Adrian Lewis, Ricky Evans, Fallon Sherritt, Keane Barry. He just has Nathan Aspinall to add to his tally then. Ryan Brown is in second on 92 points. He has Joe Collins still to add to his tally. Sean McCardle still up there. They've been top for the last couple of days. They've still got Rob Cross to come in and play. Smith's played. Still got Jim Williams to play again and Alan Suter to play again. So that one could be very interesting. And then he's in the chat room. Look, Steve Cadman on 88 points. Still got Alan Suter to play again. Got Ryan Searle to play and Rob Cross still to play. Keep an eye on this one. Charlie from the team is in 5th place. He's just a point behind Steve. Phil Bars has snuck up into the top as well. Of course he's got Michael Smith in his team. Of course he's got Bully Boy. Get him in the Premier League. And Barney, oh my, wouldn't give me the Barney alarm, but he puts Barney in his own team. And Lewis Henderson rounding out the top 10 as he's level on points with Phil Bars as well. I'm not going to dig too far into the rest of the list because it'll be embarrassing to see how much further down the list my name is, but that is our update. We're still working on what first prize is going to be. Phil Bars will be trying to get us something signed from the Alexandra Palace, probably a program or two, but we will let you guys know as soon as we have that confirmed for you. Cam, just 2 more days to go before Christmas. Tomorrow night will be my last show of the week. I have Thursday night off as I am heading back to Oxfordshire for Christmas. I'm also moving house on the same day. What an eventful Xmas this is going to be.
But I'm sure you, mate. I'm going nowhere.
It's all right. You can take my spot.
Yeah, I was meant to be, but I am
in on a transfer soon. You have on that part of the draw, first prize spot in the Premier League. Maybe we'll get on the blower to Matt from the PDC. Malik says too many, I presume. Is that a reply to how many boards you think Whitlock goes through at home? Apparently none. He says he doesn't damage his boards at home when he uses his manufacturer's boards.
Clearly has a very different board.
Yes. I tend to think it's an issue with the way that the darts are retrieved as well, not the way they go into the board.
Yeah.
They seem to be pulled out. If they were twisted or wiggled out a little bit, I don't think they would leave as much. Emery says free tickets to the Torremolinos Open. We would never subject anybody to that terror. Jack says, do you guys think Fallon will be in the Prem? I don't. I know there's a lot of call and a lot of clamour for it, but after the performance against Steve Beaton a couple of nights ago, I think after hearing Wayne Mardle say it as well, I just didn't think that Sky would or PDC would listen and say that actually the Premier League can damage players. It can ruin players, and I don't think Fallon is ready. She has performed a couple of times at the level required to compete in the Premier League on TV in PDC events, but there have been multiple times where the average it's been competitive, yes, but it's not been mid to high 90s Premier League competitive level. That is a big step up. Rob Cross averaged 92, 93 for his Premier League campaign last year and got relegated. It was a tough 10 weeks for Rob Cross, and I'm fearful that Fallon Sherritt would be in a similar position. She might produce the odd night of absolute brilliance, but 10 weeks against the best players in the world would be a little bit too much. And there's a chance, actually, that we've been saying this for a long time now, Cam. Maybe getting a tour card is not the best thing for Fallon either. To still get a World Series invite, be allowed to play in the Women's Series, and pick up extra events elsewhere, I think that profile raising for the game will be better served there than on floor events in Wigan and Barnsley.
Possibly, but I'm not so sure. I think Fallon I don't think there's enough in the Women's Series to take her to the next level at the moment with how it is. I don't think she's going to improve doing that. I think she does need to be playing the floor events against guys, and I do think that the tour card is something she needs because it will only see her go to another level again. I do think we'll see her in the Premier League as well. Whether it will be the right thing for her, I'm not sure, but I do think we'll see it because at the end of the day, money and profile talks, and if she either doesn't get a tour card or has an off year in the Women's Series or whatever it might be, or gets a tour card and doesn't really do anything, then that profile falls away, and she is the biggest draw in the sport right now for casual fans and new fans to the sport, and it is probably the time to cash in on that and bring all those new people in.
You can differ, and there are plenty of people that differ opinion, perhaps across the board too. Warren says the Prem student spat Price out first time he was in it, and Jelle Klassen, and Kim Hybrex, and Mensur Sulovic, and Mark Webster, and Stephen Bunting, and God knows who else you want to list off on that roll call. It is a completely different monster travelling week in, week out, and having to put in those performances against those players. Lee said he'd like to see James Wade win the World Championships, thinking he might retire straight away if he once did. Not a chance. James Wade is sticking around, and he is sticking it to every single person he can possibly find for an entire year, going, look what I've got.
I wasn't shaking my head at him retiring. I was just shaking my head at him winning the World Championship. Nobody wants to see that. You would be absolutely unbearable. If that happens, I will have resigned before he's even done his winner's speech, and you will never see me ever again.
Hi. And Sam says it would be nice if the discussion changed from Fallon in the Premier League to showing more women's darts on the TV. The issue is that the PDC for the last 15 to 20 years, since they dropped their World Championship through lack of commercial viability, I guess, is that the PDC believe that darts is a meritocracy, that sex and gender is not an issue in playing darts. They can perform, men and women can perform at exactly the same level. It's an open sport. The only way you get more women's darts on TV is if more women qualify for the open events that are in the PDC. The WDF or the BDO obviously do have separate women's competitions, but their tournament has just been pushed back to April. So it's going to be a while till we see just an all-women's event on TV. That being said, Eddie Hearn did say that he wants a Women's World Championships in the PDC now as well. How the fans and people would react to having women being able to play in the Open and the Women's, if that becomes a Men's World Championship and that draws a line under women competing against the men, I do not know, but that is a discussion for another day, because for now, that is the end of tonight's show. We're going to a cheeky little bit of question time that you normally see on the live lounge to finish, as there was just the two of us, and we were a little bit further ahead. Jack Taylor, we are not going to say the name of Barney's manager. Go and Google it. I'm not falling for that. Fully aware what his name is, but I'm not saying that on the show. A big thank you to our friends at BoyleSports for making this happen. Once again, they're our sponsors throughout all of our World Championship coverage. They've been superb all year, and they continue to do so. Check out our social media, including TikTok, Twitter, and our website for the best bets that we can find for you. Sam Tizzle will be bringing you in video form, and he has been on fire a little bit this week. Cammy's picked up a fair few winners so far. Don't forget to follow us across all of our social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us updating our literally everything. We'll give you results on there in graphic form. There'll be opinions, previews of each day's session, and our daily roundup, which one of us has to go right now for today. And thank you very much for watching the show. Chatting with you guys have been amazing. And if you're listening to this back as a podcast, thank you very much for watching and listening. And we will speak to you all again, once again, tomorrow.